I guess third time's a charm. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and I have been documenting my journey of becoming an author, and it has been a bit of a struggle as I've been trying to just perfect my final draft of my book. I've been looking at different self-publishing companies and finding different drafts of my book, and there's so many things you don't know until you start doing something. And the basic premise of self-publishing is you put all your writing in a PDF file and upload it, but you know, apparently you have to format things correctly, and you have to make sure all your pages are in right order and that your file has sizes. Just little technicalities, and I've been struggling with that. But not just that, today I wanted to come on here and unbox my third draft of the book because I botched the other two, as well as just talk more about my author journey, sort of how it's been going, what my goals are, and things like that. So first, I'm just going to start with the general unboxing. So as I said, this is my third draft of the book. I have gone through the self-publishing company Lulu, and this isn't sponsored or anything. This is just a company I used, and this is my experience with them. My last draft, it looked really good, but I messed up the interior formatting, and so I just decided to do another draft. And plus there's something else I wanted to add to the end of the book, so it takes about roughly 2 weeks for it to come in. But it is finally here, so I'm just gonna unbox it really quick, and it just comes in this cute little cardboard mailer. I'm gonna pop it open over here, maybe if I can. God, packaging always knows how to get me. So then your little book comes like in this cute little box. Probably have it the wrong way, and then you open. Oh, I had it the first time, and then oh voila, here she is. And then I wrote. So that is the title of my book. Has my little receipt right here. I'm already looking at this, and I'm like, I kind of should probably really fix that, because that is not sitting where. And I'm trying to like zoom it out so you can see, but basically the spine is not how I wanted it to be, so I might have to go through and fix that. But this is it. I really love the cover because this is a matte cover, and my very first draft of the book I went through a different publisher and they just did not have the matte option, and so I had a glossy cover, but I really prefer the matte option. So I don't know why this is like so thick right here, like what is going on. But anyway, and then I wrote one. Okay, so I'm already just being like, this page number is not supposed to be here. Okay, this looks good. My copyright, my little 4-page, my little quote, and then my intro. This is supposed to be page 1, so this is page 1, and this does 2. So I'm kind of concerned as to why that happened. That looks fine. So I'm just looking through my little poems. All the other page numbers seem good. Okay, so I'm thinking that like the page numbers should be in this corner, not this corner. I formatted this in Google Docs, and to be honest, I'm not that good with Google Docs. Like the most I do is just like basic PDFs that I submit somewhere online. I've never actually had that PDF be printed, so I'm seeing that might have been like my error here, because I did not think this through, because that looks really awkward. Okay, so other than that, the pages are good. Oh, gonna cover that up. There's some bonus content in the book, so if you do order a copy of the book, you get to see that. Other than that, everything else looks good. I just need to fix my page numbers and whatever happened on the spine right here, but this is the closest I've gotten. So as you can see, just with each draft, I get a little closer to getting ultimately what I want. And I don't know why it's been so hard. I just keep having really minor mishaps. And I'm not gonna lie, it's starting to rack up. Each draft of the book cost me around $10, which isn't that much, but this is gonna be my 4th draft that I'm gonna have to order, so that's like $40 already. But I definitely can make a whole video into like going into the cost of self-publishing. Everyone will tell you that you can self-publish for free, and you can, but if you do want a copy of your book, if you want to make sure your book looks good before you just start selling it to people, you're gonna have to order your own copy. And that, as I am finding out, can add up. And there's also so many other things that you can pay for, but I'm not going to get into all that. This is definitely a very indie, by the bootstraps kind of project, and I'm a little disappointed in myself, if I'm going to be honest. I was really hoping that this would be the draft that's good, that's perfect, and I just keep overlooking these little mistakes, and it's really setting me back. I was hoping to be able to just have this green lighted and go ahead and just set up my book for purchase by other people, but obviously we still have some work to do, so it's just gonna take a little longer than I wanted to, but it's okay. It's all part of the process. And I just also want to show that I really am taking into consideration like how I can make and put the best product out there, because if I didn't care, I would have like let my first draft of this sell, and I obviously would have not been very happy with that result, because that draft has a lot of typos and it doesn't look the way I want it to. So I would have been very upset if that was the draft we put into the world. But again, we're just gonna keep on working on it, and hopefully I can figure out what I want to do, what I need to do, kind of thing, to make this good. But I also did want to just take this moment to talk more about like my author journey and everything that's been going on with that. So I started writing this book in April after a really bad date. That's why it is called Man I Wrote, because I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, this was not the book I originally intended to publish. I was actually going to write a different poetry book with some of the same poems in here, but it was just going to be a little different. And like when I first started writing, I rarely wrote about relationships or love. I would just write a lot about nature, or just kind of like how I felt internally, because like growing up I struggled with my mental health a lot, and like I still do now, but writing has always been a way for me to channel that, and when I can be creative with it, I'm able to express those feelings and thoughts. And so I always wanted to write a book, but it was never going to be centered around this. But just the way my life has been the last 2 years is I've had a lot of less than stellar dating experiences, and I can definitely try to go into that a little more on my channel. I definitely wanted to, but I literally deleted all the proof I had of the crazy things people have said and done to me, and I was just like, I should have kept them so I could have made videos with it, but I just kind of wanted to get that part out of my life, and I want to get this part out of my life, which is why I was just like, I'm gonna write this book. I'm just gonna put everything in there, throw it out there, and move on and focus back on kind of the original brand I wanted to build. But I had a collection of poems from the last 2 years, and then just a couple more that came up after that like really bad experience. I was like, I am so tired of this. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it in the book. And if you read the introduction, which I guess I'll give you a little sneak peek of right here, it says, let's be real, none of you deserve this, just like you didn't deserve my love, and you sure as hell don't deserve an anthology made out to you. So basically my concept was like, you know, y'all don't even deserve my time of day to get a book, but you know what, I'm gonna humor you because I'm bored. But that's kind of my whole, I guess, attitude towards this project, is just like, you know, it's not that deep, so I'm just gonna humor y'all, but realistically I'm over it. It's kind of what the vibe I was going for. But yeah, so I wrote this book and I love it. It challenged me to write some things that I wouldn't have otherwise written, and it's really interesting to see how my writing style has progressed over the short amount of 2 years, because some of these poems I wrote in 2023 when I was in like the midst of like one of my heaviest relations slash situationship slash whatever ship that I've gone through, and it was really interesting just to see how I felt in those moments, and then to come back, and now that things have changed and that I've changed, to add on my new perspectives and layers. And a lot of these poems are edited from their original version. I will say I'm usually pretty bad about editing. Like I'll just I like to think things come out perfect the first time, which is so not true. But and I mostly apply this just to my poetry writing. Like once I write something, I'm like, hey, that's perfect, that's golden, it's gonna be like that. But a lot of these I had to like go finish up, kind of add some concluding thoughts, or now that things have changed, it's like change the narrative of the poem itself. And you definitely gonna have to read it to see what I mean by that. It's kind of hard to explain, but so it's just been interesting to see how I've changed as a person, and how my priorities and goals are different, especially right now, because I just literally had another less than ideal dating experience, and I think I'm gonna have to end up talking about it at some point on this channel, and I don't really want to, but I think I'm gonna have to. But regardless, I'm really tired of trying to date, basically. Like, I'm very tired of it, and I'm tired of the results I've been getting, and each time has inspired me to work on myself, to work on my art, and to be creative, and just first and foremost truly love myself and do the work that I love, which is why I'm writing. But it's very exhausting, and so that's kind of just what centered the inspiration for this book. But in terms of the author journey itself, I've gotten a lot stronger as a writer. So growing up, I've always wanted to be a writer. I always wanted to write a book, but I never really believed in my abilities. And in 2020, I did go through a very similar phase where I was just like, okay, I want to start publishing my work. I want to get it out there. I tried submitting to literary journals. I tried entering writing contests, but I was very undisciplined with my work, and the fact that I would just not finish my stories because I was like always waiting for inspiration to strike, and that's still something I struggle with. Like, I'm really bad at submitting themed stories, and very rarely will I just sit down and write like a story because I felt inspired. Like, I'm a lot weirder in my process of writing, like short stories, novels type. Like, I do those as well, but they're a lot more challenging for me versus when I write poetry. I just kind of sit down and do it. A lot of the poems I wrote that are in this book, I wrote in the middle of like class at college, because that's just, I don't know, it comes a lot more easier and naturally to me in a sense. And that's also why I don't feel like I need to heavily edit them, because they just kind of come out. And so back then, though, in 2020, I was focusing on different writing styles, so it was a lot more challenging, and I got tired because I was like, I don't see myself really being successful with this. And then when it came to do college, or like when it came to go to college, I just kind of dropped writing for a little bit, and so I just kept writing poetry throughout those years while I kind of stepped back from writing novels and different writing formats, essays, those kind of things. And now I'm trying to come back into it because I have so much more to say. I believe in my voice a lot more. I have a lot more confidence in my ability, and as I've seen, my skill level has obviously improved because it's something I've been for the most part consistent with. And part of what inspired me to write this book in general was literally showing one of my romantic interests my poems, which is kind of crazy because that's not something I do very often. There's actually very few people in my life that know that I write poetry, and so I was showing this individual my poems, and they're like, this is really good, you need to publish this. And it was nice to hear somebody that like wasn't my sister or my best friend tell me that. Granted, part of it may have came from the, oh, I'm just telling you what you want to hear so you'll like me kind of thing, but it was really encouraging. And oddly enough, it was that person who I was also just like, yeah, we're not doing this, but they gave me a push I needed. And I believe in myself a lot more than I have before, but it has been a little hard setting up a writing business. Like, if anything, I've had to like reverse engineer some things and do some steps that I didn't want to do first than I am now. Like, it's really hard to explain, and I will eventually make a video on just like all the logistics of setting up like an author business and things like that. But essentially, I don't just want to write a book, I want to make this a career. And in order to do that, there's so much logistics that goes into it, because like I do have to set up like an actual business entity. I do have to have a brand. I do have to have social media, be active on that. And that's all been such a challenge for me because I do not know how to do any of those things. Like, again, YouTube has been like such a saving grace for me because I'm like, I just can't do Instagram. I'm trying my best. If anything, it's linked in the show notes if you want to go follow my Instagram, but I'm so inconsistent on there. It's so hard for me to share about my projects on there, and I'm actually busy running different social medias for different projects, working on things for friends and things like that, because some people do know what I do and they ask me for help. But it's been really challenging, and there are times when I'm just like, I don't think I'm cut out for this. Like, hey, I have 3 drafts of this book now. Like, I could call it a day. Realistically, I got what I wanted. I saw my work in a published format, so I should be good. But no, I really want to take this seriously. I want this to grow. I want this to be something, but it has been very hard. That said, one thing that has helped me a lot is having accountability. I do have somebody who I check in with every week, and they ask me like, okay, what did you do this week to work towards that goal? You said you were going to do this task. Did you complete it? Yes or no? Why? And just kind of going through that has helped me a lot. And just knowing that this individual believes in me makes like that really means something to me. Like, knowing that this individual believes in me, that just gives me encouragement to keep going. And the other thing is just purely mindset. That's that I'm working on. If you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about how the mentality can need to adapt to feel like you're winning towards your goal, as well as I made a summer goals video, and that's just kind of talking about my little goals for the end of summer. And one of them is just, and a couple of them are focused more on curating my mindset and just filling my life with positivity, filling every aspect of my life intentionally with things that are going to benefit me and just help me accomplish this. And I know that I've just been rambling so much, but basically very close, but it's still been hard and discouraging. I still have so much to go, but I just kind of want to end off on the note that like, whatever you are trying to do, whether you're trying to publish your own book and you feel like it's hard because like everyone just makes it look so easy, like I'm right there with you in the trenches. Like, I know that this is not as easy as people make it look. I know a lot of people try to play off the like, oh, here's a really easy way to make money, like self-publish your book. Like, yes, but no. Maybe some people do get lucky. I don't really know, but what I do know is that no matter what you do, it is gonna take some level of hard work. And so I just want to encourage you not to give up. And if you're working on any other goal, whether it is a creative endeavor or not, or you're thinking about going after something, like, it's hard, but I encourage you to do it. I think there's a quote that's like, choose your hard. Like, oh, being rich is hard, but so is being poor. And I know I'm doing a bad job of explaining it, but like, life is gonna be hard regardless of what you do, so you might as well do the thing you want to do, is kind of what I'm trying to get at here with that. And so I will leave y'all with that for today. Thank you so much for listening to all my ramblings, and hopefully when I see y'all for draft 4, it will be good to go and we will be ready to have this out in the world. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.